Welcome to this episode for the Promotion Playbook, a proven path to your fire department promotion. I'm your guide on this journey, Josh Wells. I'm currently a captain paramedic. I've used these skills to help me be successful with my promotion, and since then have gone on to help several others navigate the challenges of assessment centers and then go on to get their fire department promotions. So we're going through the entire journey, starting at the beginning. And during this episode, we are currently in the application skills. And so we're covering the practical skills that you may encounter during an assessment center or during your upcoming assessment center. So far, we've covered the 4 hazard zones you have to avoid. We have covered the shift prep sheet in terms of organizing your crew. And today we're going to talk about in baskets. Oh, we also did the role play size up sheet. And today we're talking about how to navigate through an in basket assessment. In baskets can also be called the inbox. There's a few other names that go out there, but the concept of it is that the way these tests typically work is that you're given several different scenarios. A lot of times these scenarios are given as pieces of paper, or maybe they're given to you in an email format, or there could be some other form of delivery, but they give you a whole list of all these problems that you may encounter during a day. And you have to categorize these and then prioritize them, and then also solve these problems as they come up. Usually you have maybe right around an hour or so to navigate through it. And they're looking to see how well you can prioritize your time, how well you can prioritize what's important and what's not, and then also how you can provide the best solutions through this simulated exercise. In the fire service, it's often, it can be a common scenario where, you start off, it's your first day as the new company officer, or it's your first day in this new position, and you have to handle all these challenges that you may face. So this guideline is in the Promotion Playbook. If you don't have a copy, you can pick it up on Amazon, the Promotion Playbook. You can also find out more at promotionplaybook.com, and I'm going to continue to give you resources. I greatly appreciate it if you'd like or subscribe to this channel, and also any feedback that you have, because this is a continual work in progress to really help as many firefighters be successful. It's not for everybody, but for those firefighters that are ready for their promotion, and they're really great at their job, but they just need some help navigating the challenges of an assessment center. This book can be really helpful for that. So a few examples you might see during an in-basket is that you might have some employee problems come across. You might have an upset community member that you have to deal with. You might have a problem with the apparatus that needs to be fixed. You might have required training that's going to come up for that day. And there also might be meetings or public events that you're responsible for attending during that day or during that week, depending on the time span that they give you. Common ways that they evaluate the score is that you have to be able to identify key issues. What can be helpful in terms of the big red flags you have to be aware of, we covered earlier, and it's earlier in the Promotion Playbook. It's called the 4 hazard zones. So if you print out the 4 hazard zones and have that awareness ready, you also might want to have the shift prep sheet that we covered earlier, so that you're able to really understand the crew that you're working with and any other challenges or anything else going into this. So the more details you have about the people that you're working with, the more effective you can utilize your team to solve these challenges. Identify key issues, set priorities, anticipate problems, create solutions, and give reasons. I'm going to say that one more time because this is a general guideline, so it's not going to apply to every test, but generally speaking, this is what's going to be evaluated during your in-basket exercise. Your ability to identify key issues, your ability to set priorities, your ability to anticipate problems, your ability to create solutions, and then give reasons as to why those solutions are the best solutions. So you create solutions and then you explain why it is your reasoning behind that. A lot of times they want to evaluate your thought process in dealing with this. And there's often not necessarily a black and white, right or wrong answer here. It's more like, hey, this is a course of action that I'm taking, and this is why I'm taking this course of action. And if you can back up your choice with good, solid reasons that are in alignment with the policies, the procedures, the culture of the organization, and an understanding of the position, you're going to do the best. So there's two ways that I suggest you can organize this. And again, I want to emphasize this is only a guideline. You have to really pay attention to what they want with your specific test. But in many of the tests, this could be a helpful way to understand how you're going to prioritize these things that come up. And having a systematic approach is essential. So as you're starting to prepare for this, these are two ways you can organize these different problems. And then in the promotion playbook, there's two templates that are available that you can practice doing this. And then you can just you can do a Google search and find all sorts of different challenges you might face, or you could just sit around and get ideas from your crew in terms of some challenges that might come across your desk in that position. So the first way to organize it is based on time. So if you think about it, when you're giving these different things, many times they're going to be time stamped. So one thing could be at 7:30 when you're supposed to start your shift, somebody calls in sick. Another thing, at 9 o'clock, you're supposed to have this meeting with the school for a public education event. And then if they're given by time, you could organize this just chronologically in order. And I'll explain that in just a minute. So you can use time and do it chronologically by time. So at 7 o'clock, this occurred. This is how I'm going to handle it. This is how I prioritize it. And these are my reasons. The other one is priority. So one way, so early in the morning, and you just chronologically put the items. The other way is you can do it based on priority. So you could have a high, a medium, and a low priority, and everything that's high priority would go under high, and then medium, and then low. So I'll just cover this. There is, if you're only listening to the audio, you can go to YouTube and you can see an overview of this, and it's going to explain, it'll give you the visual layout of how this works. So there's one page to organize by time, and then another one is to organize by priority. And the different categories, the different columns here is that there's several rows for all the problems. So you might want to print out several of these as you practice. Or if it's possible to bring this into an assessment center, this could be a helpful way to present, for you to present your organization of how you're going to deal with this. So the left column is time. So you just go, you start earliest to latest in the day. And then you have problem is the next column. So what is the problem? What is the priority? And what is your solution? So time, problem, priority, and your solution. Under the solution, you can also add your reasons as to why you chose that solution and how you're going to back that with policy or with your resources or culture, or why it is that you're making that choice, because it's very common that you'll do this during one session, and then there's going to be another session where you meet with a group of people, and you have to you end up explaining to that group why it is that you made these choices. It's almost like an oral board assessment, but it's more of just going through these choices as to why you get an opportunity to explain your thought process here. The other one is that it's organized by priority. So if that's the case, then there's only two columns. The first column is what is the problem and the priority, because you have three different sets of rows. So the left column is what's the problem and what's the priority that you're giving it. So you have high, medium, and low priority. You just kind of put those areas based on that. And then you have the solution. So what's the problem and its priority, and what's the solution? And again, under the solution, you want to explain why you're doing that solution and give your reasons behind it as much as possible. So problem, priority, and solution is the essence of being able to do this. And realize there is somewhat of an art to this. You definitely want to be aware of the 4 hazard zones. Actually, I'll just go ahead and touch on that real quick because it's worth mentioning. So here's the 4 hazard zones. So there is a separate video to explain this more, but generally speaking, anything that would fall in the category of compromise of the 4 hazard zones are safety, operational readiness, public relations, and legal. So as you're going through it, you might want to have this written down somewhere. And if something is going to compromise safety, operational readiness, public relations, or legal, there is a chance that that can be a high priority issue. There is variations in terms of how serious each thing could be, but just be aware of these 4 areas: safety, operational readiness, public relations, and legal problems. So in closing, for the in basket, you want to be prepared by be able to identify key issues. You want to be able to set priorities. You want to anticipate problems. You want to create solutions and give reasons. In the templates, you can either do it by time and run it by time, or you can classify it into just chunk them together: high, medium, and low priority. And as you go through that, what's the problem? What's the priority? What's the solution? And under solution, why are you doing this solution? Problem, priority, solution. If you just remember that, everything is a problem they're going to give you at some level. What's the priority and how are you going to solve it? They want the point of these is to figure out how well you're going to be able to solve problems and give good reasons behind why you're going to do it. That's it for this video. So to find out more, check out promotionplaybook.com. If you want to get a copy of the book, go to Amazon, type in The Promotion Playbook, a proven path to your fire department promotion, and keep in touch for the remainder of this series. So I'm going to finish up by doing this. We're going to bring this all the way through the entirety of the book. And then I'm going to bring you more resources in terms of success stories and several other tools and content. So stay in touch, and I wish you the best of luck with your promotion. Thank you.